Okay, I think we're recording. Our mission, and y'all on the computer can see the screen, right? Got a lot of computers going on here. No one acknowledged me. Perfect. I got a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So our mission, as always, to be the market center of choice for real estate agents in Pittsburgh and Western. Yay, as always.
Of course.
It says, oh, voice.
It's not, those are Cs.
That's
That
a
was not no C.
It is a C.
boy.
It's a weird font. I went in and edited it last night. It was actually a C.
I'm sorry, just.
Thank you for catching
Fair
that.
enough.
You make my job so much more.
I love you.
Yes, I love you. Our belief system, Y4C2Ts, win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand. I lost track, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. So y'all know the drill, unless it's your first time here. If anyone wants to share on any of the Y4C2Ts, whether it's shown up in your life or your business, please feel free to share and speak loud so everyone can hear you. Stephanie.
Teamwork. Due to a confusing transaction for a newer agent, Ally and I had to step in with the co-broker to stay on top of a lender who does not seem to be doing their job and doesn't really understand what their job is. But without your assistance with me, with the co-broker, I don't think we'd be getting close to this closing table. So thank you.
Teamwork. Thank you. Who else?
I'll do one. I think like this one comes in all shapes and sizes of the belief system. I had a listing, a few weeks after listing it, found out that the seller had not been honest in his disclosure with me. And, had like 6 open violations with the city of Pittsburgh's permit office. The buyers were the tenants that were currently living in the house. And it was supposed to close the 3rd week of April and it closed last week. It took a lot of people, and at the settlement table between settlement, the buyer's agent, myself, just all of us working together, you know, we all understood and said aloud that if we all hadn't been those exact people, it might not have made it to closing. And so my question is always like, are we that agent that can get results, that can work with others, that can focus, like, even though my fiduciary was to the sellers, I was focusing so much on the buyers and what they put into it, is how are we perceived by others? And it was an amazing experience and a huge learning lesson. To also, if you've got an LLC with someone, check one stop to see if they have a violation, especially if they're flippers. It was literally one of those things where you put a system in your business to check for the future.
What is it, one stop?
Pittsburgh One Stop is the new permitting.
One stop.
One Stop, it's the new permitting, portal. And if I hadn't had a login for that from when I got my permit to do my electrical panel in my house, I wouldn't have had that login. It changed the game. Just so if anybody ever needs access to that, just holler, because I don't know. Yeah, just log in and try to get one so that you at least have access to it. Anyway, long story short, it was amazing.
So magic creativity, right? Hopkins. I'm talking a lot. You know, so my client was using the Pittsburgh program. First Commonwealth came up with a $20,000 grant from FNL, all this other stuff, but to make the deal work in the beginning. Right. The June's mortgage payment, right? If we closed on June 20th, well, we actually closed on June 14th. So I'm like, this $1,000, how do we split it? Blah, 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 how do we prorate it? Kind of get over that. That's where Lauren, the broker, did that, because it was like, well, because the other agent was like, well, on paper, y'all agreed to give $1,000. No, we agreed to pay that month's mortgage. And if the mortgage is getting closed off on the 14th, there's still 15 days left. So we got over that. We got to do the final block, but I'm not exaggerating. The grass was probably as high as the lake. I can show you the pictures, right? And I called her and I'm like, I sent her the pictures, because I'm like, I thought it was at Ron's house, right? I'm looking like, at the house. Well, what you want me to do? We already did you a favor. What favor did you do? I mean, your client's mortgage got paid off in time. We're still going to pay the proration up until the 14th, but we don't owe you anything at the end of the month. Well, your client doesn't have her father-in-law do work like this? Excuse me? If I show y'all a picture, like, it's crazy. So I just said, don't worry about it, we'll be good. But she ended up paying $150, which still doesn't cover it. But yeah, so I thought that was a win-win.
Thank you. Joe has his hand raised.
I was trying to be so polite. Is
Okay,
Susan in the
let's-
room?
Yes.
Hey, Susan. I have two belief system wins. One for Susan, is that I would say commitment in all things. Susan was like super diligent on a deal that she was working on. We talked yesterday for like 35-40 minutes between a couple calls. By the way, I'm only a call away. And I think, really worked through that. And she's working super hard to get her clients the best deal. And like called the PAR hotline, called Allie, called me. Like we were all over it to make sure that we were working together. So a shout out for Susan on that. And then, is Jean in the room?
No,
Okay.
is she on the
Well,
line?
I don't know if she's online, but I was always taught to give praise publicly and criticism in private. So I'm going to praise Jean even when she's not in the room. Tim, one of our new agents, put a post on Facebook that he was looking to start to shadow some agents. And Jean responded to him, took him under her wing, and he shadowed her over this past weekend. And that is leading to an opportunity that I would say is a win-win, where when she travels here later this month or going into July, that they're going to work together and he's going to start to be able to do some showings and be able to get incorporated into the business a little bit more, working under one of our top agents. I think that's super great, a total testament to our culture, and a great lesson for everybody. So put yourself out there like Tim, and then be the person who responds like Jean, and that's a win-win, and teamwork and success results through people. Thank you.
I have a win-win. I was supposed to be doing workshops for Dollar Bank, and the first workshop I didn't feel comfortable with. But one of my friends had just got hired there to oversee like their community outreach department, so I didn't want to see her fail. So she had called me and forgot all about it. I called Ken. I said, Ken, could you jump in for me tomorrow? And he has been jumping in, doing creative things that I never would have thought of, and bringing it back to the table.
That's a win-win. I'm excited for that for y'all on Saturday. Any others? Joe, is this an appropriate amount of time? Can we move on?
I loved it. I was so happy today. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. As always, under Keller Williams, we have two nonprofits. One is KW Cares. You can donate if you scan the QR code. Or in command, when you submit your commissions, it'll always ask you if you want to donate. Last year, $2.8 million have been awarded in grants and assistance. Over 1,000 KW family members found hope and relief. We have responded to several natural disasters that have affected our KW families. So the money is from us and it stays within our KW family. We have a couple birthdays this month. Jasmine, Dominique, Diane Roberts, and Bianca. Happy birthday, everybody. And we have two anniversaries in June, JD and Felicia. Happy anniversary. Thanks for being with us. We have a couple new members to welcome. This is fun. This. Alba Martinez is coming to us here in our Pittsburgh office. She's joining us from ESP. Welcome, Alba.
Thank
And she's
you.
online. There she is. And we want to welcome back Chris Mundy. Oh. This is being recorded. Chris is coming back to us. We're excited to have him back. Really? I'm so excited.
So.
I'm very excited to have Chris back. And we want to welcome Derek Pryor. He is a new to business agent. He currently works at Pitt. So welcome, Derek. And that's a little differently. You just heard about Tim doing shadowing with Gene. We want to welcome Tim. He's in our Pittsburgh office, new to business agent also. That's it. Oh, welcome. Hold on. Let me go back. Welcome, everyone. I wasn't sure if that was it. So we want to welcome all of our new and returning agents. We had one have our last one. This is weird. It was me. Holy guacamole. We have a ton of home run agents for the month of May. A home run agent is someone who has one listing, one closed unit. Yeah, right. Speaker. And one contract written. And let's go through that list. Addison, Barry, Blake, Brandon, Deanna, Diane, Doug, Eric, Felicia, Fran, Heather, Jennifer, Jeremy, Joshua, Ken, Chris, Maddie, Mike, Natasha, Ryan, Shannon, and Uche, all home run agents. Congratulations. Big list, guys. Top agents for listings taken in the month of May. Uche coming in super strong with 11.
Yeah.
Deanna close behind with 8. Those are huge numbers. Great job.
So nobody heard that, okay.
Heather and Ryan tied each other with 6 listings, and Lauren coming in at 5. Right
Go ahead,
behind.
Lauren.
Mike at 4, Fran and Jean having 3 listings each, congratulations. Addison and Doug with 2. And also for the month of May, Jennifer, Barry, Ken, Maddie, Eric, Brandon, Joshua, Chris, Shannon, Blake, Susan, Diane, Natasha, Jeremy, Lori, Michelle, and Felicia all taking a listing. Those are big, huge numbers. Top agents for contracts closed, y'all. I need a breath to read all these names. Mike,
Reduce the font.
yeah, the font has to reduce. Mike and Fran closing 5 units in the month of May. Joshua, Heather, Jeremy, Stephanie, all closing 4 units. Lauren, Ryan, Deanna, Doug, Natasha, Shannon, all closing 4. Myself, Barry, Blake, Brandon, Ken, Steven, Diane, Lori, Maddie, Marlena, Felicia, all closing 2 units. And Allison, Jennifer, Linda, Alexandra, Hamilton, there's so many Alexandras now. Eric, Chris, Dylan, Uche, Addison, Lisa, Bill, and Jill, all closing a unit. I think you had 3.
Yeah, her name, Mona is her first name.
I know that, but I think Lisa had 3 just because I'm going
She
off
did.
my cover.
Yes.
However, she's on there. We all have a lot of them. Congratulations. Top year-to-date closed volume. Jean coming in at number 1 spot with 4.5 million. Congratulations. I love that Ryan and Heather are neck and neck on every slide. So Ryan's coming in at 3.8 and Heather at 3.2. Congratulations. Jeremy's coming right behind you with 2.3. And we have Jennifer 1.9, Stephanie 1.8, Josh 1.8, Doug 1.4, Blake 1.4, Deanna 1.4, Ken 1.2, Fran 1.2, Natasha 1.1. Congratulations. And Felicia, Shannon, Maddie, almost, and Lauren, almost at 1 million. Linda and myself in the 8s, and Uche was 700,000. Can read all those numbers. All right, so you just saw for yourself all of our numbers, all of those listings taken. Joe, do you want to do this one?
Yeah, I unmuted myself. I was like so excited. So number one comment is we are likely going to start changing the way that we celebrate those numbers to separate out teams. We now have a number of the teams where the production can probably be counted a little bit differently. Everybody smile for Allie. And I love it. So we're probably going to be doing that. And as those of you who were at the celebration of our end of year awards, like we had awards for teams, we had awards for individuals. So at the mid-year point, right? So the July team meeting will be the mid-year point. We're probably going to be switching that conversation to individuals versus teams. So just be aware of that. And then these numbers here, I love it, the red and black. It's very KWE, but it feels weird for red to be up 66%. Red feels like it should be a down number. We're up. The number one number for me is listings taken units. Year over year, we are up 66%. You guys just saw those numbers. I mean, it's been a long road of coming out of the pullback of the market, and a lot of agents are down. I sent Allie a quote yesterday from a call that I was on. It was that agent confidence has been shaken more in the last 6 months than in the 10 years before. And I think we are fighting the good fight right now. And these numbers tell that story, that we are taking a ton more listings right now. We actually ran out of signs, and don't worry, I drove to Bedford and back last night to deliver signs that are going to get picked up by Allie tomorrow. And so we're taking more listings. We're taking more volume of listings. We're up 30% there, 29%. We're writing more contracts. We're up 13% in contracts. The rest of the market's up 4%. We are outperforming the market in all of the key numbers, but the number one number that excites me the most is listings taken, because that is market share. We should be having a ton more open houses than all of our competitors or than ourselves last year. We should be door knocking around those open houses. We have the playbooks. Make sure that if you haven't seen them, that you get the KW playbooks that we have in the office that talk about how to maximize your marketing around listings. Borrow each other's listings. If you don't have one of the listings that got taken, find somebody. Uche just took 11. I'm sure that that's going to be tough to door knock around 11 properties. Steal one of those and see if she'll let you market it. And it's the same with a lot of our agents. So that 66% up in listings taken is an indicator that in the future, everybody in the room has the chance to be doing more business. So the more signs we have in yards, the better it is for all of us. So great, just super exciting news on the numbers. It's exciting to see that. June's looking to be good. July also looks to be good in the future. And that's it.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep, that's in Pittsburgh. I don't know if Doug, I see Doug, he looks very deep in thought. I don't know if he wants to give like a 2-second version. Well, when you do the Altoona shares, you can share what you're seeing in the market there. But I've been keeping an eye on Altoona and Johnstown as well. And the Altoona office has probably some good news to share. I'll let Doug give it though.
Don't go on a word, Joe. MCA minute.
Yeah, no super pressing reminders. I think the big thing to know is I'm gonna be out next week, so if you just wanna leave closer to the Bianca, timeframes will get in, it's kind of the same day, I'll just be processing them remotely.
And as always, be compliant in your phone calls.
Bianca, when you take that.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, good morning, everyone. We've got a couple cool updates in PC world as well. First of all, we have two people to welcome to PC, Alba, who's on the call right now, and also Tim. I didn't look at the roster to see if he was on there or not. I know he works nights, but Tim and Alba are both off to a great start. I had an opportunity to meet with both of them last week, and Tim had just had his first listing appointment as well, so great job to them, as well as Jasmine, who's coming down the home stretch with closing her first deal.
How would you? Jasmine's closing her first deal. We are fine. Perfect. Thanks, Blake.
And then I get into the software, I'm like, I don't know.
Like the news. Monday market, as always, Jennifer is on Zoom. This same link that you guys got onto this, it's the same one. Monday from 11 to 11:05. Get on, and here are the numbers. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, real quick, really interesting numbers. I don't know if you can see there in the 2022 to 23, it's actually should be changed to 24. We saw a major dip on the week of the 3rd in new listings, and then a huge surge the second week. That trend right there is a really interesting trend. If you're next year, if you're looking to list, is to note when your listing can stand out. Will be like in the first week of the summer or first week of June versus the second. That's just as an indication. Also, huge number over there on the right-hand side. There are obviously 236 fewer agents in the MLS this year than last year. We were seeing this dip right after renewals. So not surprising, we talked about that. A lot of folks didn't renew their licenses, so we're seeing a significant decrease in the number of agents in the MLS this week.
Thank you. All right, shares and wins, Johnstown. Brandon, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm saying, Karen, take it away. And I'm muted on my end. So we have obviously one of our best months right now. So that's been very good. I'm so happy to see almost all of our agents making the top list here. So I always tell them, I hope they log on and see it, but I share it in our meeting tomorrow to congratulate them. We have a couple new recruits that we are working with and very hopeful that that's going to be happening here in the near future. Other than that, we have some events coming up for summer that we'll be involved in. We do a Richland Community Days, and so we're looking forward to just being out in the public and meeting people.
Thanks, Fran.
Thanks.
Shares and wins, Bedford.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Laura.
So we have some, so we're having a good month in June. I feel like we had a really good May, but we're having an even better June. Alex that joined us last month has his first deal under contract. And Melissa just celebrated her first commission earned. So that's all exciting news. So
Incredible. Way to go, Lori. And shares and wins, Altoona.
Morning, everybody. Great turnout. Good to see everybody here. May was another great month for us as we continue to roll year over year ahead of last year. We were up 5 transactions for the month of May from year over year. We were a little bit down in volume, but we have been a little bit down in volume as in $100,000. So it was pretty tight. But we were up 5 transactions, and transactions are what we have been pushing through all of this with the way our inventory has been behaving. If we can stay active, we will continue to push. So when the market does begin to shift, we'll be on the thrive side of things. Contributors last month, Josh and I both had 3, Felicia 2, Bill, Linda, Alex, and Dylan all contributed to our transaction base last month. Dylan's continuing to climb, had another one this month, and he's getting ready to put up a big listing here in the next day or so. So lots of really good activity, and probably the thing that's been most eye-opening this past 10 days has been the amount of conversation around other possible agents joining us. In fact, we're going to be looking at onboarding a new to business agent this week. So a lot of great things there. Joe was talking a little bit about the numbers just to give you some idea of how we're doing with comparison to the market. The amount of listings that we've done this year has been off the charts. It's well over 50. I think we surpassed the 50 active listings mark for the year, which is for our little office is pretty astonishing. Out of 849 total listings. For us, it's a huge win. It's a huge win. So the campaign to get more listings has been working, and we continue to push for that. So everything's looking good on our end, man. We're excited. We're off to a great start. June looks like it's gonna be another strong month for us. So pretty exciting.
Thanks, Doug. And now we're gonna invite Scott Leroy to take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on here. So my name is Scott Leroy. I run what I call the lamest name company of all time, Scott Leroy Marketing, and we're really here to kind of help you with all of your KB technology. So if it's possible, if I can share my screen real quick, that'd be fantastic to show a couple things on here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so our end goal on here is to really help you with pretty much anything and everything KB tech oriented. So the scottleroymarketing.com website is the main place to go to on here. And once you put inside your market center number of 883, that'll give you access to everything possible on here. So the first section you're going to see is our questionnaire section. And you may recall this when you first joined on with the office, but this is a great way to go through and through our existing agent questionnaire, basically say, if I was starting again brand new today on June 18th, what does that look like? How do we help out with that right away? So it's a nice little yearly check-in with the doctor to ensure that everything is running properly on here. Now, the other big item that we also have is all of our additional training classes. So every Monday through Friday, right at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, we have live training classes that are happening for y'all to learn a little bit more about all the KDB technology, right? So whether it's how to utilize DocuSign, how to take your website to the next level, or really just how to utilize Command in general, we have live training classes that are all workshop style oriented to help you out on there. But then beyond that, you can see all of our training classes that are happening on here, whether you want to see what's occurring today, this week, this month. We have all of our challenges on here. So if you want to see something written out of what you need to do over the next 30 days, this will help out tremendously. In addition to all of our cheat sheets as well, too, just to learn a little bit more of, FAQ walkthrough options to help out. Now, all of our classes are recorded on here as well, too. So if you want to go through and kind of, watch these classes at your own time, you're definitely more than welcome to. So everything is alphabetically organized, but then chronologically organized to go through and update or kind of access the most recent updated course right away. So if we had a campaigns class today, for instance, then once this is uploaded, the first campaign option on here would say something like Campaigns 101-6/18 to access that most recent class immediately. All right, and if a 1-hour class is not your cup of tea, that's okay. All right, we do have all of our tech tips on here that are normally between 1 to 5 minute videos just to kind of help out with everything immediately on there. All right, so this will just make your life a little bit simpler to help out on all these different items. If you're looking for something more specific, how to go through and just create a Facebook ad, then we'll have a quick little tip on here to help out with that right away. All right, now beyond all this, we do have our agent support section as well too, and this is my favorite thing to highlight. So at the bottom of every page is going to be our contact information. So if you have any issues, questions, concerns with any of the KDB technology, whether it's, I can't sign in, I'm having an issue with my website, this isn't working correctly on my database, whatever it might be, please feel free to contact us and we can help out with that right away. All right, so really think of us as an extra tech staff member in the office to make your life that much simpler. But then beyond that, we have all of our free services on here as well too. All right, so whether it is, some of the top rated items on here, like importing databases or creating a custom bio, we have services just around the command platform. So if you need help starting those smart plans, we can do all of that for you to get that going right away. We have services around all the KW technology, whether it's My KW, Command, or Connect. All right, so if you need help with anything and everything, like maybe you happen to have, a QR code you need created, or you have a new email, headshot, phone number, social media info you need to adjust, we can do that right away. All right, we even have services around your KW.com email. And then my favorite thing is around your website. So if you need help sprucing up your site even further, this will help out tremendously on you. All right, so, and if you don't know where to begin, this first option on here of just the website enhancement to add in all additional pages possible just from your login and password for Command is a great place to start on here. So I love that because this is just going to help us to go through and add in all the extra options like a download app page, featuring your specific listings around the area or your actual listings, a local school search, going through and adding inside preferred vendors, testimonial submission forms, what's my home worth, so items to make your site stand out and pop a little bit more. All right, and then we even have some external options as well too. So if you want to utilize the Canva account to use our templates, a digital business card, a Calendly account, we can help to make all these for you. And all these buttons are just clickable options that'll take you over to a quick short form on here to basically go through and say, hey, what all do we need to get this started right away? Or once again, just feel free to contact us at the bottom of every page so we can help with that right away. All right, and the final big thing is we do have all those templates for y'all as well too. So on here under our template section, if you want to go through and access any of these, they're all available 24/7 for you to utilize. So we've got agent template options on the right-hand side all through Canva. So once you come on here and sign in with your Canva account, if you don't have one, we can create one for you. They're all free to use. And then this way you'll be able to access that right away on here. So once again, you have to sign in with it. We can make that for you. And then we'll have a bunch of different template options accessible for you that you can use right away on here. All right, so all of these items are all completely free and accessible for y'all to use just from the graciousness of the office. So please feel free to take advantage of anything and everything that I just highlighted on there. It's all available complimentary for you. And please think of us as an extra staff member on everything KW Tech. So our goal is to really help you to, basically get back out there and help people buy and sell homes and not have to worry about any of this technology. So please contact us at any time.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Does anyone have any questions before he heads off? Like you said, all of that, if you go to the website, that's all free for you to use. The Market Center works with Scott Leroy and his company. So does anyone have any questions? They're also so fast if you email, man, they get right back.
I have a question for Scott. Scott, can you we just had a call on Friday with some of our agents on PPC and SEO. I saw the links there.
Yes.
Can you show that and talk about how that helps agents generate leads? Like what's that? What kind of sorcery happens at those buttons?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So that is, so some of those items that you saw down here, those are our kind of custom options, but we'll work with agents to kind of help out with their digital marketing. So those are paid items that I definitely I don't like highlighting those inside team meetings as often. I want to definitely talk about all the free stuff that's available. But if y'all are looking for items to kind of take off your plate and maybe you want us to go through and actually create all the different pay-per-click ads that are going through Command or external of Command for Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, even Google AdWords, how you can populate when people are actually searching for a specific keyword, we can help to do all of that for you as well. Same with like the social media management, where we can actually maintain all of your different marketing pieces for you, whether it's over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, any other locations you might be utilizing like X, and then even on search engine optimization. So if you want to see how when you're searching for specific things, obviously a very generic one would be something like Pittsburgh homes for sale, but how you might want to populate for certain things inside specific neighborhoods, we can help to actually do that through different backlinks, through articles, through blogging, through the social media side to kind of help you out even more. And if you want to learn how to do all that as well too, we do also teach those classes as well too through our training side. So if you're like, hey, I'm not at the point where I want to hire anyone to do this, but I just want someone to kind of teach me how to do that as well too, that's where all of our training classes come into play. So this will make everything a little bit easier on there to help out as well. So a few opportunities that are available depending on what y'all might be looking for. If you're at the point where you're like, hey, I need to get this off my plate, or if you're like, I really want to kind of see what I can do over here on my own first, and we can help to kind of walk you through that as well.
Awesome. Thanks for showing that. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks,
Of
Scott.
course. Thank you for having me.
We are going to take a 5-minute, use the restroom, get a drink, get pizza, and come right back. I literally can see who's in this room, like everyone come right back. Jim is here all the way from Erie, so don't be rude, go to me, come back. I'm just kidding, y'all are my favorite, but for real. Jim's gonna talk about creative financing. He shares a presentation with a lot of cool people, so make sure y'all come back. Thank you.
Happy birthday. That's the best office.
Bianca was the drawing, thank you.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Not even up there, sticker.
Oh.
Go.
Pretty well.
I know, got me here.
All right, so anybody here know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaf guy, how you doing back there?
Good. You didn't even say hi to me. I saw you sitting over there, just waiting for you.
Well, you were talking.
Okay. So, anyways, I'm out of the Erie office, but I am, born and raised in Pittsburgh. I am a Gateway Gator, if you know where that's at. So, that's a little bit about where I came from. I've been doing, real estate since '91. I got licensed down in Maryland, and I've been all over the US. But I started doing investing, back in '91. And when the interest rates at that time were in double digits, we were doing a lot of creative financing. Anybody here, do a second mortgage or a third mortgage, on a home that you sold for your commission? That was, some of the first deals that I did. So, yeah, we put a lien against the house and the seller paid us over time. So that's kind of the genesis of where I got into creative financing. But then we started doing things like, true seller finance, where the seller becomes the bank. And right now, what do you say is one of the biggest difficulties of getting a seller to sell, especially if they're going to buy again? What do you experience? Well, yeah, okay.
Right now, they don't even put the excuses right now.
All right, so what options do we have for them where they can still enjoy their interest rate that they have? And also make more money?
Write it out. They can write it out.
Yeah, absolutely. They could, keep it as a rental,
Single ones.
100%.
Single ones.
Yeah, suitable loans. You could also do a sale with seller finance. And with seller finance, and there's two primary ways. Has anybody heard the term land installment contract?
Yes.
So land installment contract was how we used to, or at least I used to do most of my deals with seller finance. Anybody know the difference between true seller finance and land installment contracts? What happens in a land installment contract?
It's recorded.
Yes, the mortgage is. But what does not happen in a land installment contract at closing?
Come on, Deanna.
I was curious, I wanted to see,
The deed, yes, transfer taxes.
yeah, but the deed does not transfer at that point. That does not get transferred until the mortgage is paid in full. That's where it's a land installment contract. Whereas if you do a seller finance, the seller actually becomes the bank, the equivalent of the bank. So they will, the transfer occurs and they just have a lien against the property. Now, in this case, we have somebody that's complaining, I got a 2% interest rate, now I'm buying into the market at 7%, let's say, right? Well, what do they have available to them? If they do a seller finance, what can they do to maximize their return? If they do a seller finance on the sale of their home, if they're able to afford to do that and still buy the new home, now they're going to get that difference between 7% and 2%. They can charge 7%, they can charge 7.25%. The other benefit is they can charge more money up front. They can charge more for that house because as the seller, you're giving more away. So now you have even more power to get more money back. And then after you sell, now you're getting payments because you're the bank and you're getting that interest paid back to you. Now, I should have prefaced this whole thing. I am not a lawyer, but for every one of these deals, I go to my lawyers and I refer my clients to the lawyers to make sure it's done right. Residential seller finance is a lot more difficult than if you're doing an investment property. Even a 2 to 4 unit investment property where the seller is not, the buyer is not going to be moving into the property. It's an easier deal to do. But you always want to consult the attorney and make sure that they draw up the papers right. Because if they do not, if you try to do this deal on your own, chances are something's going to get screwed up. Now, I know a lot of people don't use attorneys in the deals, in the transactions where you're doing just a straight up residential property. You don't use an attorney, you can just use a settlement agent. Anytime you start dealing with this stuff, you got to consult an attorney. And you want to make sure that you talk to a broker as well. Make sure that you run the deal by them first, to make sure that you're not going outside of bounds. All right. But what the whole idea behind creative financing is, it gives you more options. It puts another tool in your tool belt to help your sellers, help your buyers put deals together. Now, I mean, we're still in a seller's market, right? Would you agree? Yeah. So there's still a lot of demand out there. How many of you think that creative financing deals are able to be done in this market and still be a competitive offer? Yeah, they are. They really are. I have done 6 in the past 2 years where we actually were competing offers on 3 of them. And what it took was me talking to the listing agent and saying, hey, what's most important to your sellers? How many of you do that? How many of you call the listing agent and ask them, what is the most important thing to your sellers? You know you can do that, right? It is, if you want to have a leg up on your competition, it is one of the best things that you can do. Call that listing agent and say, hey, what is most important to your sellers? Is it timing? Is it sold price? Usually it's not solely price. There's usually some other item that's important. I've done deals where the seller threw in a boat. They're moving somewhere, they didn't want the boat, they included it in the deal, the buyers wanted it. That's even a form of creative financing. So, you got to think outside the box and you got to have that communication. And I get it. I know some listing agents, I can't tell you that, but vast majority of listing agents, if they're doing business regularly, they're gonna tell you. So, any questions about that? I mean, there's a lot, good.
So I'm curious, you've been doing this since I graduated high school, so based on what you just said there. If I laid out 20 sellers agents, how many of them do you think will tell you something?
I would say, I mean, for me, my experience has been probably 18, 19 of them.
I was at the same, I was at least 15.
Yeah.
At least 15, I get information on 15 of them, at least.
And I absolutely, I have this conversation with my sellers, whenever I list a property, I ask them, what is most important to you in this deal, in your sale? And it doesn't matter whether it's a house or if it's a commercial property or a multifamily investment property. It doesn't matter. I want to have that conversation. I want to know where they're coming from. And I want to know what I'm allowed to share with the buyer's agent. I also asked them the question, would you consider any type of creative finance? Because I want to know, A, I want to know if they know about creative financing, and B, I want to know how flexible they really are. And the more I know about their situation, what they're doing, what their plans are, the more I can help them. Another great place is somebody, grandma and grandpa bought a place, my grandfather's house is over here on Stratford. If he still was alive and owned it, he far exceed the tax exemption on the sale. So what do you do with that difference? It's another thing that you can do with creative finance, right? You can take that difference and do creative financing and get that paid over time. So there's a lot of things, and this is a way that you're that consultant to your clients. You're consulting with them to find out what's most important to them and giving them other options. I talk about commercial properties or anything that, it could be a 1 to 4 unit rental property. Who here knows about the 1031 exchange? So, I love this market dinner. So amazing.
This being Thursday.
Yes, 1031 exchanges are an amazing way to avoid the tax man at the time of sale. So, to a certain degree, that can be creative financing as well, because it's not your straight sale. Another type of creative financing you don't talk about too often is a lease purchase. Lease purchases are creative financing because you can build payments towards the down payment, closing costs, whatever, over a year period where they're leasing the property, living in there. And if they decide not to buy it, well, the seller's just pocketed all that money and the buyer would be out that money unless you renegotiated it at that point. So that's another type of creative financing. Has anybody done any creative financing?
I have, but a lot of our CDC basically is doing that lease purchase. And what they're doing, they're receiving a tax credit up to 15 years. So when the 15 years is over with, the individual is so-called supposed to buy the home.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like a grant?
No,
It's not a grant?
it's not a grant. It's a tax credit to
It's a pure tax credit.
credit to the CDC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, that's through tax credits through the state.
I love tax credit.
My creative financing, right, was over here on 226 North Negley. It was a commercial building. So we did $50,000 down over 18 months. I could get that figure, but he's right as far as the attorney. I would have never understood, still don't understand the language that he put into.
Yeah.
the contract. But basically, the way it was written, the tenant or the future owner, as long as he pays, he stays. If he misses a payment, all that money he forfeits and the deed reverts back to the original owner.
So that, and this is where the difference between a non-owner occupant create a financing deal and a quote unquote commercial. Commercial does not necessarily mean, 5 units or up if we're talking multifamily or strip center. Commercial use could be a single family that's being used as an Airbnb or just pure long-term rental. So if a buyer comes in and they're gonna sign a paper that says, we are not buying this to live in it, we are buying it as an investment property and it falls under the commercial rules. Then that attorney can draw up the language. You're probably talking about a confession of judgment with objector. So, what also happens is they'll sign the deed, they'll pre-sign the deed. So if that buyer defaults, they can actually just go to the prothonotary, file the paperwork, and that property is again theirs. And they do not have to follow the foreclosure laws. You cannot do that on a residential property. This is where, you have to weigh the risks. Because the risks of a residential property are, you have to follow the foreclosure laws and go through that process.
So I just want to add to that, we keep talking to an attorney, not every area is different, so I moved to Georgia thinking I'm just gonna do the same things here. That's a whole other monster.
Yes, it is. 100%.
I was just gonna say, I've done some carry deals on residential and commercial.
Yeah. It's a great thing. So I normally will go for an hour, but, I'm sure you don't want to hear it for an hour. Does anybody else have a question about it? Other alternatives, anything that you've done, that you want to share, any deals, any wins?
Can you just start from the top and all of the different types of financing, all whatever, that's, make sure I got it.
All right, so we'll start with the easy one. That's lease purchase, lease option, lease purchase, however you want to call it. And with that one, if you're writing it up, you're gonna want to apply X amount of dollars each month towards the closing or deposit money, however you want to structure it. I've had a lot of success with people that are rebuilding their credit, went through a divorce, went through medical issues, whatever. That's really been successful for me. Helping buyers.
Or cannot be reported, either they can go to the right.
Yeah, usually they're not recorded. But could you? Yeah, I guess you could. I don't know why you would want to on a lease purchase though.
Jim, I tried to negotiate for the first time a lease agreement for myself.
Okay.
For the very first time ever, right, 8 years into this, and it was with this little house over in Westview. And the seller was a realtor. And they wanted to do a $10,000 fee just for the auction. And I said no.
Wow.
And they said, how about 5,000 of that goes towards your purchase and 5,000 of it is just for the auction? And I said, no. But I thought it was cute though. Now, that house has been on the market for like 5 months, nobody else is gonna buy it. But I thought it was cute. Now, we did negotiate the whole thing. And I got them down on rent and everything else, but I just thought it was interesting that he started with a $10,000.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Never know until you ask, right?
As someone that.
Before I get too far into
Don't
this,
need that for them.
I almost forgot something really, really important. Who here is on the ALC? Amazing. I love it. So are you all aware, who's on an ALC committee
Which
as
committee?
opposed to a chair?
Oh.
No, okay. So July 25th at 1 PM is a national ALC mastermind. Mo Amschnitt is going to be kicking it off. So you are all invited. If you're on the committee, if you're an ALC chair, whatever. Ellie will have the link post haste. But
You say there was 1 p.m.
1 PM. And team leaders are invited too. Absolutely.
What day does that fall on?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday, I think. This is for Q3, and I'm also gonna send the link for the Q2. The really cool thing, this is exactly like what the AOC is supposed to do. This is ground up type of a thing. It started on a pivot call and said, hey, let's get it together. And, you know, it was like, I don't know, 60, 70 of us on a mastermind call. Then we invited Jason and we invited 3 team leaders that have turned around market centers and had utilized the ALC in different ways. And it was just a really cool call. So I'll share that with you. But this one with Mo, I think it's going to be really good. Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
The second, you did lease purchase, now
Yep.
this, options, you go down the list that you.
Yeah, so the lease option, so the lease purchase, you apply monthly, and the lease option, you could potentially do that as well. The only thing is that option to purchase is unilateral. It's only on the buyer. The buyer can make that decision. Usually there's a time frame where that lease ends. You know, I like to have 2 months. Bless you. But that's up to the sellers, you know, how they want to negotiate that. And it's just an option to purchase. Usually, yeah, I would say with the option, a lot of times there's nothing applied in the rent towards the closing, but I have also seen it where, you know, a small amount was applied. So, next one would be land installment contracts. Land installment contracts was, and I don't know what law, not law, but what, there was some case in Pennsylvania that now the lawyers recommend doing the seller finance as opposed to land installment contracts. In the past, it was always land installment contracts because the title didn't change, transfer at closing. It didn't transfer until you paid off in full. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the case law. But anyways, land installment contract was really started just as that. You know, when you're buying land, you just make payments to purchase the land over time. And then once it's paid in full, then the land's yours. But they just started applying it to properties, you know, with houses on it, you know, buildings, et cetera. So,
I know it was heavy here in the 60s due to the
Yeah.
fact that a lot of minorities couldn't go directly to the banks.
yeah.
And that was a form of redlining.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. There was some bad stuff that was done back in the, even into the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, I would say when I got into the business, okay, here's one for you. When I got into business, guess what didn't exist?
The silver notice.
Yeah, it's super notice.
I'm not that.
What?
What is a lawsuit? I'm talking about a lawsuit, some
Right.
sort of a settlement or something.
And buyer's agency.
Yeah, buyer agency didn't exist. It was this new fad. We operated in that all agents represented the sellers, even though when we're taking buyers through. Yeah, we're with you.
Dude, I don't think I was that far off because in 91, we didn't have computers and tools. And most people.
You're not that far off. What we had,
So.
our MLS was thermal paper. And we put our handset, yes, there were home phones that had handsets, that actually, it felt good to.
That's it.
Slam down at-
I missed that, Jim.
The
I
dial.
miss it.
So, yeah, it was thermal paper and you hoped it wasn't too hot to change everything and you lose your MLS.
Is that how they did it out of the books?
Yeah, and we had a map that was broken down. That's how we have the areas in the MLS. It was broken down by areas and we had these big map books.
Oh,
All right, so let's keep on this. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. We're gonna go back to, we did land installment contracts. Then we do seller finance, true seller finance, where deed transfers at closing, the seller then becomes the bank. Now, this is the reason you have to talk to a lawyer if this seller is retaining their mortgage. You know, what I was talking about is that difference in interest rate, right? Now, as long as that mortgage is being paid, and this has been from some attorneys that represented the big lenders, they're not gonna come after you if you transfer title and, you know, you still have that, they still have the lien against the place, you have a lien against the place. I am not recommending that you do this. This is why the attorneys can make the recommendation for or against this with their clients, right? Your clients too. So if there's a mortgage, you can get that difference, right? 7%, 2%, you get a 5% difference. It's a little bit of arbitrage, right? You get to keep that, you get more on the sales side. And it's just, it's one of these things you can do, but it is legally, you need to consult a lawyer, 100%. If you want to consult with your client's problem. Do not try to do this on your own. Even if you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. So, that is the true seller finance. There's also, you know, you can do a seller second. Again, it depends on the type of loan, the type of deal, but, you know, like I said at the beginning, I had my commission paid to me. I was a third lien on the place. You know, I didn't know if I was gonna get paid. I did. All my deals, I got paid, but, it was a little shaky back then. So, the whole point of creative financing is the fact that you have this knowledge in your pocket that if the circumstances are right, you have an option for your sellers, you have an option for your buyers, and you can come in and make the best deal for them. Which is also beneficial to yourselves, right? If we're helping our clients are paying us. And, you know, we're being the true fiduciary that we should be. And if you don't know, then you need to ask.
So this, my brain, you know, most of the people already know my brain, like. So hypothetically, Jen is getting ready to go into foreclosure.
No.
Nobody really knows that she's going to foreclosure.
Okay.
So the last definition of creative financing would benefit Jen a lot because we'll be able to pay her mortgage, her existing mortgage, right? And then give her a couple extra dollars.
Potentially, absolutely.
Okay.
So that, I don't know if anybody heard on here, the question is about a foreclosure situation. It is a possibility if you have a buyer coming in with enough down payment to get caught up on the mortgage and also put money in the seller's pocket, you can potentially rescue them and help them get out, not only whole, but actually make money. Again, you gotta have the attorneys looking at this whole process, because anytime you start getting into foreclosure, there's wheels in motion that you don't wanna try to do that on your own.
Right.
So, yeah, it's another option there. And then you put it together with the 1031s, these types of creative financing deals, you can do 1031 exchanges too. Make sure that your clients know that they can maximize the return on their profits.
Before I get this question out, just agree with me that there's no such thing as a dumb question.
There absolutely is no such thing as a dumb.
I'm trying to identify as a real estate agent, to bring this type of buyer. When do you get paid? Do you get paid or transfer the sale?
I would say,
When?
that is a great question. The question is, when do we get paid? So, it depends. How's that for an answer?
Okay.
So it's gonna depend on a lot of factors, like the one about a foreclosure situation. With the right amount of money up front, you can get paid at closing. With a seller finance deal, it can be the same thing. Or you could do, you could negotiate your commission to be paid over time. I actually have 2 deals right now One of them, I get paid $30 a month. And this is a commercial deal, but I wasn't gonna end up with anything. So I'm taking $30 a month all day long, you know? At least it pays for a meal.
So Jim, when you talked about putting a lien on the property,
Yeah,
how did that work?
it's just like a bank.
I understand that part,
Okay, I'm
but
sorry.
I'm saying, as long as they're still in the house, you're still never getting paid, correct?
Potentially, yes, that is correct. If I put a lien on a property as, to get paid my commission, yes, there is a possibility that I might not get paid until they sold the property or refinance
Or that?
or die, where the property is going to transfer. So one of the things that happened to me, the perfect example was a deal I did in '92, where my commission was, it was third position. They were paying, for the first year, then they stopped paying. 5 years later, I get this call, from a settlement company. Hey, Jim, do you really have a lien against this property? Yeah. Well, they're selling it now and, they need to pay it off. Great. So not only did I get my principal, but I got interest and penalties, on top of it. It wasn't a huge dollar. I mean, at that point it was $5,000 plus, all the penalties.
Yeah.
So.
If that was in the nineties.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
That's like $5.
Why are you picking on me in the nineties? Come on, it's not that long ago, was it?
No, it wasn't that long ago, it was like 30 years
Just my old star.
As the nineties, maybe, it was not that long ago.
I joke about that for sure. Here's the thing, we constantly have.
2012.
No, it's fine. My youngest daughter just graduated high school, so she was born in 2006. My oldest was born in '88. So.
Oh, really not.
That was my gap years.
So. Taking $30 commission.
I just don't, I don't think
That's
about
worse than
the age thing at all. It's. I ran a half marathon for the first time in my life when I was 51. I have never done anything like that. I used to fight, I don't know if anybody knows Jimmy Synthetic, but, he was a big, boxer here. Trainer.
He used to be over Kingsley.
Yeah.
It's spelled
He was,
VCC. Now I'm going back to when I was 11 years old, okay?
CDETIC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Synthetic, we had a place, out at Boys Park, just by there. He was a Vietnam vet and, ended up writing, poems. And, he changed my life. The direction with, with boxing. I never went pro like my friend did, but, stuff I learned in the ring and in the gym was amazing. And I just kind of took that, when I was 51, I was a slug, I was 260 pounds. I hadn't done anything like that since I was 18, 19 years old. So my point is, it's never too late to start until you're 6 feet under. And that goes for investing, that goes for your real estate career. I mean, look how many people started to look at Mo. Mo didn't start her real estate career until she was in her 50s. So.
Jim, thank you for saying that, especially about investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical. I mean, we work for a company that cares about its agents more than any other company. They want us to experience passive cash flow, profit share for the rest of our lives and for our next generation. What other company does? I don't know of another company that does that. We have a company that wants to train us, teach us, and that wants us to be together to lead the way. And that's what we're doing. I love coming into your market center. First of all, I'm greeted very nicely, just to hang out for a few minutes while my mom's at the doctor. And you can feel the energy in here. And I really appreciate that, Ally, and all of you, for being here. Know that you can reach out to me anytime. I'm up in Erie, but I'm a phone call away. If you have questions about creative financing, whatever, it doesn't matter. I've probably done it in my years, but, yeah, I'm sorry, I've been around enough. I've been with a lot of different companies before Keller Williams. And I found my home. I know that I can go anywhere and visit an office and experience this. So, you have a great office, you have a great team leader. I appreciate you inviting me here, to present at your team meeting. You certainly didn't have to.
How long you been with KW?
This is my second go around, because of travel. So 2008, 2012 was my second time. Yeah, I was with Colliers, I was with a couple of regional, commercial companies, regional developers, and, I kept getting called by a team out in Allentown, and, I joined. I don't know if anybody here, I know one of you do, but Usha Patel.
Oh, yeah.
Who is?
Usha Patel. She's on the board of directors for KW Next Gen, and she is part of KPG. She is my mentor, my friend, her and her husband Bob Wells. If you ever see Financial Mastery being taught by him, highly recommend it. $99, it all goes to charity, either KW Next Gen or another charity. Great program, but
On a weekly.
yes. So, I'm actually teaching Quantum Leap, to the graduates tomorrow. The Quantum Leap for young adults. And, I also teach the KW Quantum Leap, which is for agents. And I love that as well. So if you ever want to do that, it's a great program. And we have one other instructor here. And the goal is to have at least, one instructor in every market center, by the end of this year. So, sorry, I got off on a tangent. I get a little bit emotional, which I'm not supposed to do in a commercial guy. So anyways, all right. Any other questions for me? I'm glad.
How do I still going?
And that is the great thing, is that once you start thinking about this stuff, you start asking the questions, you start reaching out, you start seeing, oh, look at all these possibilities that I have. I love doing these deals. Who here does cold calls? Anybody cold call? I mean, just us, that's it? Wow, okay.
They do the
So,
golden letter.
I have a huge sphere, right? And I get a lot of business from my sphere. I get a lot of referrals and all that stuff. What I absolutely love doing is cold calling, properties that are not on the market, currently. Whether it's doing that circle prospecting, or it's looking for out of town owners. Because a lot of times, you'll find motivated sellers that way. And in single family homes, as well as, 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Any one of those, if you find somebody that's an out of town owner and you reach out to them. I've been batting about, I don't know, I get about 25% of them to agree to either list or sell. I'm always going in there looking to buy first. And, that's what we should all be doing. Is this something that I should buy? Or is this something that I should list? Right? Now, I assume that, because Joe's on here, I know he absolutely talks about that a lot. He is a huge investor and he has more experience than I do, I believe. So it's really critical that we look at these opportunities, which is what they are. They're opportunities in front of us to give ourselves the lives that we desire and deserve. And creative financing is one way to do that, cold calling is another. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone.
You know, Jim, in another life, my second job was being a homeowner.
Yeah,
And I used to sell doors, siding. You know, if you got in for the appointment,
yeah,
18 to like 23. Then after that, it was credit cards, but I must have did that enough that I don't want to ever do it again.
yeah, fair enough. I get it. So I want to say one thing about that, about the cold calling part.
Yeah.
I had the biggest, I just absolutely did not want a cold call. I did not want to make these calls.
How do
And you know why? Because I felt like I was a salesman,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
It wasn't until I shifted my mindset and said, you know what? I am not calling these people to sell them something. I'm not calling to sell them widgets or Amway.
Right.
I'm just their old Amway. I am calling to help them with my experience with the largest company in the world, to help them with the largest transaction that they're probably gonna make in their lifetimes.
Fair.
Right? So I am helping them. I am there for them. If they choose not to use me, if they choose not to meet with me, it's their loss. How's that for a frame of reference flip?
It helps when they hang up the phone on me for sure.
I've been yelled at, phone hung up on, it doesn't matter because, I tried to help them and they chose not to use me to help them.
I started as a loan officer over the phone.
Yeah.
So that is exactly the mentality that took to switch me
Yeah.
over to, don't take it personal, you're just trying to help people,
I know.
Yes.
That's more than I really had, but, thanks for having me.
Thank
Thank you.
you so much.
How do we get in contact with you?
I'll give you the information.
Okay.
That might be easier.
Thanks.
So he also does an online learning every Friday. You should have, Jeff, share your Friday classes.
Oh, yeah, I do it, on Fridays at 11 a.m. Just after we're done with our, lead gen, right? I do